everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we're making these adorable unicorn slippers. How much fun are these? We are stuffing these with polyfill and making them super squishy and fluffy and just overall adorable. These slippers are made with red heart yarn, so I will get into the supplies you need for this project, and then we'll talk about some frequently asked questions about sizing and whatnot, and then we'll get into making these cute slippers. So I am using actually 6 different colors today for my slippers. The yarn I am using is all Red Heart yarns, so big thank you to Red Heart Yarns for letting us use this yarn in here. Some of it is new, this one is new, and then some of it is just Super Saver yarn. So the main color of my slipper is white, so I'm using Red Heart Super Saver in white, and the yardage for that, I used 2 skeins at the same time. We're using 2 strands of yarn at the same time, so I would recommend getting about 700 yards, but obviously there's some left over, so but each skein is 364 yards, so you can see here white, and this is a size 4 medium yarn. That's a 10 ply yarn, so if you want to, you can use a double knitting yarn or an Aran yarn. And it says worsted weight size 4 there. This is an acrylic yarn, and like I said, I'm using 2 skeins at the same time. This is 364 yards, which is 7-ounce balls, so you can use 2 strands at the same time, which would make it about 700 yards in total. So approximately it's around 700 yards, but you're not going to use all of it. It is just the main part of your slipper, as you can see here, the whole back side of your slipper, and then the whole front side of your slipper, the little eye parts and the ear parts. So but it is a big area because we're going up and around into this, and we're using 2 skeins at the same time to make it a really thick yarn. So if you wanted to, you could use bulky yarn, and you could use just 1 strand of that bulky in white. The next color for the sole of our bottom here, we are using Red Heart in Minty. So this is Minty, and you can see here this is how much I have left over. I used 1 skein of yarn, so by 1 skein of yarn it's 364 yards in the skein, and then I used half of it. I just rolled 2 balls of yarn out of it, and this is how much I have left. So I would guess about 150 yards each strand, so about 300 yards is what you'll have left over, or what you'll need to use, actually. Sorry. Then the next color, I'm just using little scraps of black. I guessed about 10 yards of black. It's just a small amount just for the embellishments and the eyes here. And then also for the baby pink, this part is optional. You do not have to put these things under the eyes. These are just little cheek marks, little blush marks, and I guessed about 5 yards on that one, so it's a really small amount of pink. This Gleam yarn, this is Red Heart Boutique in Gleam. This is a new yarn. I've actually never used it until today. It's so much fun. It's like really soft, and it's got these like gold strand around it, bright gold shimmer, and I just thought a unicorn would be perfect to have that on their horn. So this is Red Heart Gleam yarn. Each yarn skein comes in 169 yards, which is a 3.5-ounce ball of yarn, but we are only going to need about 10 yards of that. So that is also a size 4 medium yarn. You're gonna want something kind of sparkly with for your horn there. And this one is called Creamy, but they have a wide variety of colors in this Gleam yarn, which is very, very festive and very nice yarn. I really liked this one a lot. And then for our rainbow colors, because unicorns, they love rainbows, we are using this Red Heart Baby yarn. This is actually a vintage yarn. I'm not 100% sure. I think Red Heart still makes something very similar to this baby yarn that is variegated in pastel rainbow colors. But this skein I've had in my stash for so long, and I just wanted to use it. So this yarn I used, let's see here, baby newborn print is 150 yards of this. So you can see here it's a 460 yard ball of yarn, but we're only using approximately 150 yards. So you may just need, you know, a half a skein of something. In a variegated yarn, you can use bright colors, you can use whatever color you want, but this one is called Newborn Print. So if you can find this online somewhere, if you wanted to use the same exact yarn, that is what it is, Red Heart Baby. And this is also a size 4 medium worsted weight yarn. So I'm using all worsted weight yarns in this project today. Those are all the colors I'm using. Now you're also going to need polyfill. This is just a little bit just to show you in the video, but you're going to need a lot more than just this handful. So make sure you have Red Heart yarns, of course, but you're going to need some polyfill for your stuffing here. Also, you're going to need a scissors and a yarn needle to cut your yarn, sew in your ends, and all that good stuff. And I'm trying to find my hook here. There it is, underneath all my yarn. The size hook I'm going to use today is a G6, which is 4.25 millimeters to crochet these slippers. This is a very small needle, or sorry, hook. This is a very small hook, and you are going to be making tight stitches using 2 strands of yarn. So if you need to, you can use an H hook or an I hook even. Go up to a 5.5 millimeter if you need to. But these stitches on the slipper are very tightly stitched, using 2 strands at the same time and this small hook. So just keep that in mind. But again, if you want to, you can use an H hook, which is 5 millimeters, or an I hook, which is 5.5 millimeters, if this is too tight of a stitching for you, and just depends on your tension as well. So now those are all the supplies you're going to need for this project. But let me get into some frequently asked questions. I get asked a lot, can you make these in different sizes? Well, first of all, this size that I'm demonstrating today is the size medium on the written pattern. The written pattern is linked in the description of this video, so you'll find that there. I'll do some measurements here. So this is the bottom sole of the slipper, and this measures about 9 inches. The reason I say 9 inches is because there is stuffing on here and that pushes your foot. So this is going to stretch also. So about 9 inches, which is 23 centimeters long, okay? And then width, let's do the middle of the foot, width is about 10 centimeters wide, which is about 4 inches wide, okay? So those are the measurements for the slipper that I'm making for the sole here. And this will fit a size 7/8 US women's shoe. So you can, this will fit me. I'm a size 7. So you can make this along with the video tutorial. If you need to make the sole off on your own using the written pattern for smaller sizes or bigger sizes, the smaller size will fit a 5-6 foot and the large size will fit a 9-10 foot. Those are US women's shoe size feet that I am measuring for. So I show you on camera how to make the medium size, excuse me, but you will need to follow along with the written pattern if you're making the small or large size. So that is the main question I get about sizing. Just follow the written pattern. And if you need to, if you have any questions about this, you can find everything in the notes section on the written pattern link. So if you have any questions about sizing or colors or whatever, or where to find the yarn, I will have all the links in the written pattern and photos as well. You'll see the picture of me wearing these, so you can use the picture as a guide for when you sew on your embellishments, but I do show you how to sew on your embellishments in this tutorial. So those are everything. Now before we start, I have to mention there are links in the description of this video. So there's a link to the written pattern, like I kept saying. There's also a link to Facebook and Instagram, so make sure if you make these, you have to share your photo on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you share it on Instagram, make sure to hashtag 365 days of granny squares and hashtag, oh, why am I saying granny squares? You know what? Check out my granny square thing. going on at YARNutopia.com. I'm so used to saying that every single day. Hashtag 365 days of granny squares. But not in this project. Hashtag YARNutopia in this project. You can hashtag unicorn slippers too if you want. But, and then yeah, check out the 365 days of granny squares project that we've been doing all year if you haven't checked that out yet. Also, you can share your photo on the Facebook, you know, find this post or share it on the wall, and check out everybody else's posts. Check the visitors' posts on the wall and give encouragement and get inspiration from others on that page on Facebook. And then on Snapchat, if you make these Snapchat me a little picture and with rainbows and glitter all over it, I have to see it. It's so fabulous that you guys are Snapchatting me. I'm YARNutopia on Snapchat. And then last thing, I have to say a big thank you to my dad, Fuad Azmat, for taking the time to make this video with us. He's our videographer, editor, and photographer for all of our videos. All the 365 days of granny squares, all of the videos that we have here other than granny squares. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the subscribe button next to my username, and then also in the corner of this video there is an eye. So if you like this video, at the end of this video or during this video, just hit the eye in the corner of your video and you can support YARNutopia today. You know, I can buy a new skein of yarn and maybe make another tutorial. So thank you to those who are supporting YARNutopia. You guys are the best. So I'm already got my pajamas on. I'm ready to get comfy and make these slippers, so let's do it together. Alright, once you have 2 strands of yarn together on the color of the sole of your slipper, we're going to put those 2 together and make a slip knot. So put your short ends over the long ends, then fold that down, and then pull both of those strands through. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to insert our hook, like so, and we can begin. So let's start out by chaining 23, so yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I won't make you watch me do all 23, so just chain 23 just like this, and then I'll meet you up for row 1. Once you have your 23 chains, this is what it should look like. We are going to work round 1 by single crocheting in the second chain from the hook and across. So the loop on the hook doesn't count as anything, so count 1 and 2. And what I like to do is, you can see your chain looking like this. We're actually going to turn it toward us, and you can see these back ridges here. Back ridge. We're going to work in those back ridges, okay? So the second chain, 1 and 2, right in there, just insert your hook in that back ridge, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's a single crochet. So we're going to single crochet across this. So go into the next chain, okay? Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Next chain, single crochet. Okay, so we're just single crocheting all the way across. When I get to the last chain on this row, I'll meet you up because we're going to be turning this around and working on the opposite end. So I'll show you what to do next. When you've single crocheted all the way across and you have 1 chain left, in that last chain we're going to put 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And you can see I'm turning this around like so. So now we're looking at the opposite side of our foundation here. And now we're going to single crochet back across. So don't have to work in this, you don't have to work in this chain here because these 3 single crochets are worked in there. So we're going to go right into this next one here. Okay, and we're going to single crochet across. And you can see here I'm going to work over the top of these stragglers as well. Okay, so yarn over, pull through. Okay, so go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. So you can see here that we worked through those back ridges and now these look like stitches on the bottom side. That just makes it easier to see these stitches on this side. That's why I worked in those back ridges of the chain, of the foundation chain at first. So now this opposite end will be much easier to see the stitches and see the chain stitches to work across here. And like I said, I'm going to be working over the top of these stragglers so I don't have to sew them in later. So I'm just going to single crochet back across here, and then when I get back to the beginning, we have to put 2 single crochets in our first stitch, which I'll get back to the beginning and I'll show you exactly where that goes, and then we'll go on to round 2. When you come back around, you can see here that our first stitch right here, this is our first single crochet, and that's worked in that first chain. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in there on this side. So 1 and 2. Okay, so now that looks like there's 3 single crochets in there because there's 3 single crochets on this end of the sole here. So now we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet. Okay, so not this chain, this looks like a chain 1 here. We're actually going to go into the first single crochet and then yarn over and pull through and pull through. Pull tight. At the end of round 1, you should have 46 single crochets all the way around, so this is what it should look like. If you have more or less, you may need to start over and make sure you have 46 for the size medium. So now going on to round 2, we are going to chain 1. And in this very first stitch that we just slip stitched into, we're going to put 2 single crochets in there. So go in to this first stitch and put 2 single crochets in there, 1 and 2, just like that. Then we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 8 stitches. So go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 1, next stitch is 2, next stitch is 3, this is 4, then 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, then we need to put a half double crochet in the next 12 stitches. So a half double crochet, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all of the loops on your hook. Okay, that's a half double crochet. So that was 1, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. That's 2. Next stitch is 3. This next one is 4. This is 5. Here's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, now we have to put 2 half double crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. So in this next stitch, we're going to put 2 half double crochets in there. So 1 and 2. So 2 half double crochets in that same stitch. Then the next stitch right here should be at the tip top of your sole here. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in there. 1 and 2. And then we're going to put 2 half double crochets in the next stitch right here. So 1 and here's 2. Okay, and now we're going to do what we did on the opposite side. So we're going to do what we did here, but working backwards. So 1 half double crochet in the next 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to put 2 single crochets in each one of these last 2 stitches here. So this stitch gets 2, 1 and 2, and this last stitch gets 2, 1 and 2. Now we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet of this round. Okay, so not this chain up 1 right here. We're going to go into the single crochet. If you need to, count back 52 and it should lead you to this stitch right here. We're going to go in, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. So you should have 52 stitches on round 2. And that's what it looks like. Going on to round number 3. We're going to chain up 1, so yarn over and pull through. And then we're going to put 1 single crochet in that very first stitch. So in that same stitch that we just slip stitched into, we're going to go in, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So this next stitch, whoops, we're going to go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, go back into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 13 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now we're going to put a half double crochet in the next 6 stitches. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that's 1. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's 2. This is 3. Here's 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So a double crochet is yarn over, go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that's a double crochet. So that was 1, so yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That's 2. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 3. Now we're going to put 2 double crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. So you should be at the top of your sole here. You can see these 3 stitches. Each one of them is going to get 2 double crochets. So yarn over, go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So there's 2 double crochets in that stitch. So we have to put 2 double crochets in this next stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the next. Awesome. Now we're just going to do what we did on this side, just working opposite for this side. So 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Then 1 half double crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, here's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then a single crochet in the next 13 stitches. So a single crochet, remember, is just insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, 2, here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So now you should have 3 stitches left. We are going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then whether or not you have 1 or 2 stitches left here, we're going to put 1 single crochet in each one of those and the rest of the stitches around. So 1 and 1. And now we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet of this round. If you need to, count back 58 stitches. It should lead you to this stitch right here, not this chain up one. This chain up one doesn't count as anything. So we're going to go into the single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay, after this round, we're going to go on to round number 4. For round 4, we're going to chain up 1, and then we're going to single crochet into that same first stitch that we just slip stitched into. So go in, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, and then pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's our single crochet. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So go into this next stitch, make a single crochet, and then go back in there for another single crochet. Just like that. Now we're going to half double crochet in the next 20 stitches, but I won't make you watch me do all 20 of them. So just remember, a half double crochet is yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 of the loops. Okay, so that was 1, 2, this is 3, 4, 5. I won't make you watch me do all 20. So just do a half double crochet in the next 20 stitches like this, and then I'll meet you up for the very next step. Alright, once you did 1 half double crochet in the next 20 stitches, we are going to work with double crochets, and we're going to put 1 double crochet in each one of these next 3 stitches. So yarn over, go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 1, this next one is 2, and the next one is 3. Now we are going to put 2 double crochets in each of the next 6 stitches. So you can see these 6 stitches at the top of your sole here. We're going to be putting 2 double crochets in each one of those. So 1 and 2. Oops. Okay. Then the next stitch, 1 and 2. Next stitch is our 3rd stitch of this repeat. So 1 and 2. Next stitch, 1 and 2. Next stitch, 1 and 2. And the next stitch is our 6th stitch. We are going to put 2 double crochets in there, 1 and 2. Awesome. Then we need to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So we're just putting 1 double crochet in this stitch here. So 1, next stitch, 2, and the next stitch, 3. Awesome. Now we're going to put 1 half double crochet in the next 20 stitches. So remember, half double crochet, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, so that's 1. Next stitch is 2. This is 3, 4, 5. So I won't make you watch me do all 20. So just continue working a half double crochet in these 20 stitches, and then I'll meet you up for the very next step. Alright, you should have 2 stitches left. It may look like you have 3, and if you do have 3, just ignore the last stitch, okay? You should just have 2 stitches left, and we are going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Okay, and then 1 single crochet in the last stitch. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch to the beginning single crochet right here. Just go into the first stitch, this first single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Awesome. This is what your sole should look like. If you need to, stretch it out a little bit. It kind of bowls up a little bit here, so we need to stretch it. And now we can go on to round number 5. What we need to do is chain up 1, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in this very first stitch that we just slip stitched into. So put 2 single crochets in there, 1 and 2. Then we're going to put, let's see here, round 5, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So put 2 single crochets here, 1 and 2. and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch right here. 1 and 2. Awesome. Then we're going to put a half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, make your half double crochet. 1, next stitch 2, this is 3, here's 4 and 5. And now we're going to double crochet in the next 23 stitches. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's our double crochet. So I won't make you watch me do all 24 double crochets, or I'm sorry, 23 double crochets. So just put 1 double crochet in the next 23 stitches, and then I'll meet you up for the very next step. Alright, I just double crocheted in the next 23 stitches. So now you should be at the top of your sole here. We are going to work in these next 4 stitches. In each one of those, we're going to be putting 2 double crochets in each one of those. So yarn over, make a double crochet in this next stitch 2 times. So 1 and 2. Okay, just like that. 2 double crochets in that stitch, 2 double crochets in this next stitch, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Okay, now we are going to be putting 1 double crochet in the next 24 stitches. So this other side of this shoe, or this sole here, I did 1 double crochet in the next 23 stitches. Then each of the next 4 stitches got 2 double crochets each. And now in the next 24 stitches, we're putting a double crochet in each one of these. So I'm not going to make you watch me do all 24. So just put 1 double crochet in the next 24 stitches, and then I'll meet you up for the very next step. Once you have double crocheted in these next 24 stitches, if you are able, or if you have 5 stitches left, that's perfect. If you do not, just continue double crocheting until you have 5 stitches left. In this next stitch, we are going to half double crochet. So just put 1 half double crochet in that next stitch. And then in each one of these next 4 stitches, we are going to put 2 single crochets in each one of those. So 1 and 2. Next stitch, 1 and 2. Next stitch, 2 single crochets. And the last stitch, 2 single crochets. Okay, then if you need to count back, you should have 75 stitches, not 75 single crochets, 75 stitches all the way around, and then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet. So not this chain up one right here. We're going to go into the single crochet stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Now if you have a little bit more or less stitches, if you're off by give or take like 5 stitches, you're okay. As long as your sole looks like this, you should be good. So now going on to round 6, what we're going to do is turn our work. We're going to chain up 1 here, so yarn over and pull through. And you can see here, this is the right side of our work. We've been working on this side the whole time. If you turn your work around, you can see the stitches look a little different, and this is considered the wrong side of your work, or the inside of your shoe. So we are going to work on this side now. We turned our work around, and what we're going to do is slip stitch into each stitch around. So in this very first stitch right here, okay, you can see if we turn our work like this, you can see the very first stitch is right there. We're going to go into that stitch, then yarn over and pull through, and then pull through that loop on your hook. Okay, but we're not going to pull too tight because we are going to work in those slip stitches in the next round. So go into this next stitch right here, yarn over and pull through and pull through. But again, don't pull too tight. If you want to, you can pull up this loop a little bit like that. Then go to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. That way you have a little bit of room for your next round, because again, like I said, we're going to work in the slip stitches for the next round. So going into this next stitch, yarn over and pull through and pull through. Okay, pull that loop up just a hair, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through and pull through. Okay, pull up a little bit, go into the next stitch, and we're just slip stitching all the way around. Okay, very simple round this round is. We're going to have 75 slip stitches. Okay, just like so. So I won't make you watch me do all 75 slip stitches. It's very tedious here. So I am going to slip stitch all the way around, and then I will meet you up for round 7. Alright, when you make it all the way around, be sure to count back that you have 75. At this point, I counted and I only have 74 because I'm missing this first stitch here, which is where we chained up 1. So what you can do is slip stitch in there, but since we have to slip stitch to the beginning anyway, I'm just going to slip stitch my very last, my 75th slip stitch into this first slip stitch right here. So go in, yarn over, and pull through, and then pull through, but don't pull too tight. Usually we pull tight then. So there should be 75 slip stitches on this round. So going on to round number 7, this is what it should look like. We are going to actually turn our work back around, so you can chain 1, okay, and then turn your work back around so you're looking at the right side of your work, or the outside of your sole here on your shoe. And what we're going to do, I'm going to flip it like this, okay, and we're going to work in these slip stitches we made, okay, so not these stitches down here. You can see these stitches here. There's stitches along the edge. We're actually working in the stitches on the top here, these slip stitches, okay. We're going to work in each one of those. And we're just going to single crochet around, very basic round here. So go into this first slip stitch right here, and there should be 75. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now at this point, if you are not lining up with the 75 stitches, if you want to, you can put 2 stitches in. If you're, have less than 75 stitches around, at this point of the game, you can put 2 single crochets in the same slip stitch if you want to get to 75 stitches at this round. This is round 7, and I highly suggest to get up to the 75 stitches. If you are not at the 75 stitches, if the counting went wrong or something, but I have my 75 stitches, so I'm just going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around. But if you do not have enough stitches of 75 stitches, you can put 2 single crochets in the same stitch to get up to the amount you need, because nobody's going to notice on this round. This is basically going to be at the bottom of your slipper, so no big deal, right? So I'm just going to single crochet all the way around just like this. You can see here that we weren't working in these stitches on the side because they make a nice little rib effect here. So now we're coming up the side of the shoe. So this part is going to be up the side of the shoe here, or the slipper. So you can see that we are only working in the slip stitches above these stitches here. So you can see these stitches down here, we're not working in those. We're working in the slip stitches on the top here. Okay, just like this. So they're laying flat on the top. And that's why I said not to pull your slip stitches too tight, because we need to work these single crochets in them. So I'm just going to do that all the way around, and then I'll meet you up for round 8. Alright, when you come back around, we just want to slip stitch to the first single crochet right here. So not this little chain up one here, you can't even really see it. So just go into the first single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and then you can pull tight. And now going on to round 8, you don't have to turn your work or anything. We're just going to chain up 1, and we're going to repeat what we did for round 7. So just single crochet into each stitch all the way around. So nothing exciting on this round, just another single crochet round, just needing 75 single crochets around. Okay, this is for the size medium slipper. So I'm just going to single crochet around for round 8, and then I'll meet you up for the next step. Alright, when you're done single crocheting around, just slip stitch to the first single crochet right here, go in, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And now we can fasten off the sole part of our slipper. So chain 1 and then cut your yarn, pull through all the way, and pull tight. Okay, so if you need to, you can, if you want to get a move on the next pair, on the next slipper, you can just rewind this whole video, or this part here, the crochet tutorial part, and make another one of these soles. But there is the sole of our slipper. So now we're going to go on to making the top part. So regardless of what size you're making, you can follow along with this next part. So what we need to do is you can see the bottom or the back of your sole here, this heel part is here where there's only single crochets, and then where there's double crochets, this is the front part, or where your toes are going to be at the front. Okay, so you got to look at it like this, and what we need to do is make sure we have 39 free stitches on the front of our foot. 39 stitches. Okay, if you are making the size medium, you can go from where you slip stitched here and count 18 stitches to the right and 18 stitches to the left and put stitch markers here. If you're making any other size, you will have to count a certain amount here and here to get 39 stitches evenly in the front. We want to mark 1 stitch on this side and 1 stitch on this side, okay? So what I'm going to do is count across here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I'm going to mark that stitch. Okay, and then that's about halfway. You want to mark about halfway to your halfway point on your sole here, and then make sure you have 39 stitches on the front here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. So now I'm going to mark this next stitch here. Okay, and if you want to, you can count. They probably will be number 18 here if you're making the size medium. So it'll be the 18th stitch on this side. Okay, so we just marked those 2 stitches. And now, for the front of the shoe, we are going to make this the back part first, and then the front is going to be unworked, and then we're going to make the front part of our slipper next. So what we need to do is look at it like this. Okay, insert your hook in the first marked stitch right here. Okay, so you can just remove that stitch marker, I guess. You don't really have to mark it, but just for visual. And then grab 2 strands of yarn of your main color of your slipper. So in my case, my unicorn is going to be white. Okay, so I'm taking 2 strands at the same time, just like we did for the sole of the shoe, and we're going to hook this on our hook and pull it through. Okay, and then we're going to chain up 1. So yarn over and pull through 1. Now we are going to single crochet into each stitch until we hit the stitch marker. So go into the same stitch that you just attached your yarn to, go in there, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. I highly advise you to work over the top of your straggler as well, just so you don't have to sew it in later. If you want to, you can sew it in later, but I'm going to crochet over the top of it, and we're just single crocheting in each stitch across to the other side where our stitch marker is. So very simple. Just go in, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay? In the back here, there will be 36 single crochets. If you're making different sizes, it will be different for you. But if you're making a size medium, then it will be 36 stitches. If you had 75 stitches on your last round for the sole of your slipper here. Okay, so I'm just going to single crochet until I get to the next stitch marker, and then we'll go on to the next row together. Alright, just come back to the other stitch marker here. We need to put a single crochet into that stitch, and then you can remove that stitch marker. Now this is what your work should look like, something like this so far. So now we're going to work in rows back and forth here. For rows 2 through 20, we are going to chain up 1, turn our work, and then single crochet across. So very simple rows here. We're going to be doing that for rows 2 through 20. Just when you get back then around to this side here, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and work back around to this side. And we're just going to keep going back and forth, just single crocheting across this back side here until we hit row 20. After we finish row 20, I will meet you up. We have to, if you go on to the next step without me, just fasten off with a long tail, because we're going to fold it over and sew it closed and stuff it. So just keep that in mind when you're going ahead here. But we're going to single crochet. Once I finish row 20, we are going to do that, then fasten off. So I'll meet you up after I finish row 20, and we'll go on to the next step together. When you finish row 20, you want to just chain 1, and then we're going to cut our yarn quite long because we're going to sew this up here. So I'm going to cut it a little bit longer here. And then you want to continue to pull that through that chain 1 that you just made. Okay, so just continue to pull that through. And then you can pull tight, and that fastens that off. So this is what your sole of your piece, or your back of your piece, should look like. So what we're going to do is actually fold that down into our slipper. Okay, all the way around. Kind of shape it. Okay, make sure it's not twisted or too much on one side, too folded on one side, not enough folded on the other side. Make sure it all lines up nicely. Okay, so you want to sew this across this inside bottom here, all the way around here. So what we're going to do is take our yarn needle with that long strand that we just cut, and I'm going to yarn my needle here, and then we're just going to sew this closed. I may need a bigger needle. Let's see. Yeah, that usually happens when I don't think I have a bigger needle around here, so bear with me here. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is, you see in here, this row where the white and the green meet, we're going to go right to the bottom of that. Okay, so that's row 8 of our sole of our shoe. Okay, so we're going to go in to the outside, just like that, and just keep pulling that. And then we're going to go from the outside to the next stitch in to our shoe and through this layer as well. Okay, so through both layers. Okay, and it's going to become a tube in there, like a tunnel. Okay, so we're going to keep going back and forth here. So in this next stitch right here, and into the next stitch right here, and then out to the other side. Okay, I won't make you watch me do the whole all the way across here, but just know we're going to continue to do this all the way across. Just go in to this side and make sure you're going through both of the layers. Okay, and onto this next stitch, just like that. Okay, once you have it all the way across, we are going to stuff this lightly. So I'm going to just continue working that like this. Oh, see, you want to make sure you get it in the next stitch. You want to make sure that you're not doing double up or anything, because then it won't line up correctly. So you want to make sure you're doing it across here and into the next stitch like that. Okay, so just continue. It's going to be a lot of, guessing and then trial and error. It's a little bit of a tedious work because of the position of everything, but once you get across, I will show you how to fasten that off, and then we'll stuff that and we'll go on to the next step. Alright, when you're at your last stitch here, just make sure that you have it tight and secure. So this is what your work should look like now. So it's like a big tunnel in there all the way across, and this is all secure down here. So now to fasten this part off, we're actually going to go through around this side. So I'm just going to go through these 2 stitches here. Okay, I'm going to, I guess to show you best, we're just going to pull this. Okay, I'm keeping my finger in the loop there, and then I'm going to come back around through that loop to tie a knot. Okay, and then pull that really tight. Okay, so that's secure. I'm not going to cut this yarn, okay, because we're going to use this later for sewing this part closed and sewing to the front of our slipper here. So at this point, if you want to, you can stuff this tunnel, but you do not have to. I am going to stuff it very lightly, so just take a little handful here, and you want to just stuff it very lightly all the way through. So I'm going to start on one side, okay, and just continue stuffing it through one side, and then I'm going to stuff it through to the other side and make sure it's all nice and even. Okay, and grabbing a little bit more here on this side. Okay, and you can see here that this is obviously flat, so you have to make sure to get it in there. There are different things you can use, sticks, and there's usually a stick that comes in your package of your polyfill, or you can use your crochet hook, or if you have little hands, you can get through there somehow, but just make sure that you stuff this evenly. Okay, and you can stuff more later as well. Okay, so this is what the back of your slipper is going to look like a little bit. I'll stuff a little bit more later, but now we can go on to making the front part of our slipper. So grab the 2 strands of yarn, same color that you used for the back of the slipper. Okay, we're going to start right in this stitch, this next free stitch on this row here. So right here is where we're going to insert our hook, hook that new yarn through, just like that. Okay, and then chain up 1. Okay, and now we're going to be working across here in back and forth rows. Okay, and we're going to start to make this close up so that it goes over the toes. So the front of the slipper, we're going to single crochet across. So we're going to single crochet in that first stitch that we just attached to and chained up 1. We're going to go in, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, and then in each stitch across. For all sizes, this will be 39 stitches. Okay, this is for all sizes now. Okay, well, the back side was for all sizes too, but on mine I had 36 stitches across. Yours may be more or less depending on what size you're making. So I'm just going to single crochet across here. This is 39 stitches, so I will meet you up for the next row. Alright, once you single crochet across, you should end right before this part starts. This is the back of the slipper. And like I said earlier, you should have 39 stitches all the way across the front. So now going on to row 2, we are going to repeat that. So chain up 1 and then turn your work. So now you're looking at the inside of your slipper. Okay. And this is going to kind of get in your way. Just kind of manipulate your yarn however you need it to be. And we're going to single crochet across. So in this first stitch right in here, single crochet. And we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch for, again, the same amount of stitches, 39 single crochets. So I will meet you up for row 3. Alright, just finishing row 2 here. We're going to turn our work. So chain 1. Turn your work, go on to row 3 with me. For row 3, we are going to single crochet in the first 14 stitches. So go into this very first stitch here, and then single crochet in the first 14 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And now we are going to make double crochet 2 together, or double crochet decreases on the next 5. We're going to do that 5 times actually, so the next 10 stitches. So yarn over, go into this next stitch here, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. But hold it, we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and so now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. Okay, that's a double crochet decrease or a double crochet 2 together. So we're going to do that 5 times. So that was 1. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that's 2. Next stitches here is 3, then 4, and then 5. Okay, you can start to see the shape is decreasing, making this come in, okay, to make the toe portion. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet in the rest of the stitches, or there should be 15 stitches left. So just single crochet in the rest of the stitches. So I will meet you up for row 4. Alright, I just single crocheted in the last 15 stitches here. Now chain up 1 and turn your work. So now you're looking at the inside of the slipper here. And we're going to work row 4. It says to single crochet in the first 10 stitches. So right in this first one here, we're going to single crochet in the first 10. So 1, next stitch 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, here's 9, and 10. And now we're going to double crochet 2 together and then double crochet in the next, and we're going to repeat that 4 times. So here's a double crochet decrease, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then we're just going to put a regular double crochet in the next stitch. So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and we're going to repeat that sequence 4 times. So that was 1 repeat. So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so that's our second repeat. Doing it again. double crochet, decrease, and then double crochet in the next stitch. So that's our third repeat, and we have to do this again. Double crochet 2 together, and then double crochet in the next. So there's our fourth repeat. Then we're going to double crochet 2 together in the next stitch, or next 2 stitches, putting those 2 together. And then we're going to single crochet in the rest of the stitches on this row, or the last 10 stitches. So just single crochet in the rest of the stitches on this row. So then I'll meet you up for row 5. Okay, going on to row 5, we're going to chain up 1 and turn our work. So now we're looking at the outside of our slipper. You can really see that it is starting to take shape right now. Looks awesome so far. So now row 5 says to single crochet in the first 8 stitches. So go in this first stitch here, single crochet. Here's 1. Next stitch 2. Next is 3, 4, 5, oopsie, here's 6, 7, and 8. And now we're going to double crochet 2 together 6 times. So this is a big decrease here. So yarn over, go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, we're going to do that 6 times. So that was 1. Okay, this next part is 2. That's 2. Then 3. That's 3. Next one is 4. It's really coming together, really tighter here. This next one is 5. And this next one is 6. Awesome. Then we're going to single crochet in the rest of the stitches, or there should be 9 stitches. So just insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so do that single crochet in the rest of the stitches, and we'll go on to the next row. For row 6, we're going to chain up 1 and then turn our work, so we're looking at the inside of our shoe, and we're going to single crochet in the first 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to double crochet 2 together 6 times, just like the last round. So 6 times we're doing this decrease. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, we're going to do that 6 times. So that was 1. Next 2 stitches together. This is 2. If you need to, manipulate your piece so that you can get to access to your stitches here. This is our 3rd decrease. Next 2 stitches together. This is our 4th repeat. Next 2 stitches is our 5th repeat, and 1 more repeat here. Decrease these 2 together for 6 times. And then there should be 5 stitches left, so we're just going to single crochet in the rest of these stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we can go on to the next row. You can see our shoe is starting to take really good shape already. So chain up 1 and turn your work. So now we're looking at the outside of our shoe here, of our slipper. We're going on to row 7. We're going to single crochet in the first 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to double crochet 2 together 4 times. Okay, so yarn over, go into this first stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So that's once. Next 2 stitches together. This is our second repeat. Next 2 stitches together is our third repeat. And the next 2 stitches together is our fourth repeat. So now there should be 5 stitches left. We're going to single crochet in the rest of the stitches on this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Awesome. Going on to row 8, we are going to chain 1 and then turn our work. So now we're looking at the inside of our shoe here, inside of our slipper. We are going to double crochet 2 together 3 times. So yarn over, go into this first stitch here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So that's once. Going into these next 2 stitches here to decrease, we're doing our second decrease, and another one in these next 2 stitches here, decrease, our third time. Then we're just going to put a regular double crochet in this next stitch. So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And then we're going to double crochet 2 together 3 times for the rest of the stitches on this row. So decrease these 2 together, decrease the next 2 together, and then decrease the last 2 together. Awesome. Going on to our last round here, we are going to chain up 1 and turn our work. So now we're looking at the outside of our shoe here. We're going to double crochet 3 together. So yarn over, go into this first stitch, then yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And again, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 4 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops. That's a double crochet 3 together. Now we're going to put a regular double crochet in the next stitch, just a regular one. And then we're going to double crochet these last 3 stitches together. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and the next stitch. Yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 4 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4 on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 of those loops. And now we're going to fasten off. So chain 1, and we're going to cut our yarn. You can cut this yarn kind of long, or if you're going to use it for sewing later, totally creator's choice though. I'm just going to cut this semi-long, and then continue to pull that all the way through, and then pull it tight. Okay, so this is what your slipper should look like so far. Looks good. Okay, so now, it doesn't really look that great, but so far we're getting there. So now what we're going to do, actually I'm going to set this piece aside. I'm going to get some more of the white yarn. We're going to make the top part here, but that's a separate piece. And we're going to make the top part and then the facial features, and then we're going to sew that onto here. So set this aside. I'm going to grab some more white and we'll make the face. Alright, so we have the same yarn as we used in the front part of this slipper, so the same color as we used in the front part here. So I'm using white, so I'm getting 2 strands of yarn here, and we're going to make a slip knot. So put your short end over your long end, then fold this down, and then pull that through and pull tight. Insert your hook into both of those loops there, and then we can start. So to make the top of the slipper, we need to chain 40, so yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, 4, 5. I won't make you watch me chain all 40, so just chain 40 just like this, and then I'll meet you up for the next row. All right, when you chain your 40, this is what it should look like. We are going to now single crochet in the second chain from the hook and across. So the loop on the hook doesn't count, so count 1 and 2. And remember when I showed you in the very beginning of this tutorial, I turned my work toward me, and you can see these back ridges here. I'm gonna just work on those back ridges. So in the second chain, 1 and 2, right in here, go in, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's a single crochet, and we're doing that in each chain across. So go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so I'm just going to single crochet all the way across here, and then I'll meet you up for the next step. Alright, when you finish single crocheting across here, the next step is to actually repeat rows 2 through 9 of the front of the slipper. So you can see the front of the slipper here. If you need to, rewind this to see how we made rows 2 through 9, this whole front of this white part of the slipper, the front part. If you need to rewind this to make it exactly like this, we're making it exactly the same. So I just thought, why show you the same exact stitches again when we just did them. It's just that this piece now is a separate entity. It's off of this slipper, but we're working along the same amount of stitches. There's 39 stitches across here, so it's the same rows here. So just repeat rows 2 through 9 for the front of the slipper. So for row 2 is just chain 1, turn, and then single crochet across. So, and then just row 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then once we are finished with row 9, I will show you how to fasten this off, and we'll make the facial features on this piece, and then we'll attach it to the slipper after that. Alright, when you finish this piece, just make sure you fasten off with a long tail for sewing, because we are going to be sewing this piece to our slipper. Okay, so then just fasten that off, and this is what it should look like, exactly like the top of your slipper. Okay, you might want to stretch it out a little bit, but that is what it should look like. So if you grab your slipper, you can see that it fits perfectly over the top of it, like that. We will be stuffing this in here and then sewing this to our piece, but first, before we do anything, we have to make the embellishments, the face of our unicorn. If you don't want a face on your slipper and you just want to leave it like this, you can totally have a plain slipper and go on to the end of this round when I start sewing this to this piece and sewing this all together. You can have a plain slipper, but I want to have it be a unicorn design, so we're going to use this piece and make our face. So I'm going to set the slipper aside. We are going to start off by making the eyes. So actually I'm going to set this aside too, because we're going to need to grab our black yarn and same crochet hook. Okay, and now we're going to make the back of the eye. So we are going to make a slip knot here, just one strand here. So short end over the long end, fold that down and pull that through and pull tight. Insert your hook, and we can start with that part here. Let's chain 2, so yarn over, pull through 1 and 2. And then in the second chain from the hook, we're going to put 6 single crochets. So in that first chain right here, we're going to go in, then yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that's a single crochet. So again, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 2. This is 3. Here's 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to, if you need to, count back 6. We're going to slip stitch to this first single crochet right in here, go in, yarn over, pull through, and through. And there's round 1. Going right on to round 2, we're going to chain up 1, and we're going to put 2 single crochets into each stitch around for a total of 12 single crochets. So 1 and 2 in there, 2 in the next, that's 3 and 4 stitches. This is 5 and 6 stitches. Next stitch has 7 and 8. Next stitch is 9 and 10. And the last stitch here is 11 and 12. So you should have 12 single crochets. Slip stitch to the first single crochet right here. Go in, yarn over, pull through, and through. And now we can go on to round 3. Chain up 1, and we are going to put 2 single crochets in this very first stitch. So right where we slip stitched, it's really kind of hard to see, but we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And we're going to repeat that around. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next. Then 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this round. At the end of this round, you'll have 18 single crochets. So I'll meet you up when I'm going to fasten off. Alright, when you're finished and you have 18 single crochets, just slip stitch to the first single crochet. If you need to, count back 18. Go in there, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And now we can fasten off with a long tail for sewing. So chain 1, cut your yarn kind of long here, and then pull that all the way through and pull tight. So now rewind this if you need to. Make one exactly like this, and because you'll need 2 eyes, or I guess make 4 of these because you have 2 slippers. So make 4 of these, and then I'll meet you up and we'll go on to making the pupil. Alright, you're going to have to grab your white yarn, and for the pupil we're going to make a slip knot, just like I've showed you many times in this tutorial. We're just using 1 strand, again, for the rest of this project, actually 1 strand of yarn for each entity, each part. We're going to chain 2, and we're basically going to repeat round 1 of the back part of the eye. So put 6 single crochets in this second chain from the hook, just like this. 1, here's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then if you need to, count back 6, slip stitch in the first single crochet. So go in, yarn over, pull through, and then fasten off. So chain 1, cut your yarn kind of long, pull that all the way through and pull tight. So now we need to make 4 of these as well. Now, mine has like this little hole in it, and what I usually do is take this straggler back here and yarn my needle, and to close that, I mean, because I don't do the magic ring. If you do the magic ring, you have nothing to worry about because that hole will be closed for you, and it's amazing. But I didn't do that, so I just like to sew this closed, just like that. See, if you cinch it, it will close tight, like that. Lovely. Awesome. So now we have that nice little pupil. So now grab your black part here. Okay, we're going to position the eye kind of in the corner, or if there was a corner, on a circle, on a side, closer to the side, off-centered. And I'm going to put this straggler in the back here. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to take this long straggler that we cut our yarn and when we fastened off, and I'm going to yarn my needle with that. And then I'm going to sew that to the pupil, or the pupil to the piece with this yarn. Okay, so we're just going to go back and forth in the piece and then back through. Okay, and then around in each stitch. just like this. But then, once your piece is on, we're not done yet. When you finish and it's all on, all nice and secure and how you like it, you want to end with this going through the back side here. And then what we're going to do is make a little tick mark here. So we're going to go directly below this, okay, skip one row here, so there is a little bit of, this is just a little detail fleck, and we're going to go around like this. Okay, and I'm going to do it twice, so right in the same spot, come back out, and then go back in the same spot. It's just a little fleck, just a little bit of detail, okay, just like that. And then I'm going to take this in the back, and I'm going to tie a knot with my two pieces here. So tie it in a knot. Just like that. Then you can cut these little pieces short. And then do that for all of the eyes for your unicorn. So I have two here. So you can see just like that. Okay? Then you want to grab your piece here, and we are going to sew these on. You can use the photo for a little bit of guide here, or this video. I'm just going to eyeball it, eyeball my eyeballs here, and kind of just position them right here. After the last two rows, you can see row 9 and row 8 right here. We're going to put them right next to that row 8, and kind of up close to the top of our piece there. So around right here. And we're just going to sew them in just like how we sewed this white part. We're going to sew this onto this piece. So grab that yarn needle, wherever I put it. There it is. Okay. Yarn your needle with this black yarn. Okay. So you have it positioned exactly where you want it to go. I'm going to go right here. Okay, and then we're just going to go, whoops, in this piece and then out the next stitch. Okay, and we're just going to go around and around all the way. And then once I finish coming back around, I will show you how to fasten off. And I'm going to sew my other eye on or off camera. Alright, once you sew your eye completely on, you can go through the back, make sure you end in the back, and then we're just going to go underneath a couple of these stitches here, just like this. Put your thumb in that loop, okay, pull it, then go back around into that loop, okay, and then pull tight to knot that. Okay, and you can do that 2-3 times just to keep it secure, just like that. And then if you want to, you can cut your yarn short, but you do not have to, because this is going to be on the inside of your piece that's stuffed. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'm just going to sew on my other piece, my other eye, and then we'll go on to making some more embellishments. Alright, when you have both eyes on, we want to do a little bit more embellishing. I'm going to do some embroidering. We're going to embroider some eyelashes, a nose, and a mouth with black yarn. So I'll show you how to do all of that. I'm just going to yarn my needle with some black yarn. We're going to go behind this piece, okay, and we're going to go into the eye. Okay, just like this right here. And then we're going to make our eyelashes. So we're going to come out onto the white part, just like that. And we're going to do that again in that same spot. So do 2 rounds on that, just like that. Then we're going to come back up through the stitch on the top, right around here. Okay, and then make another eyelash. And you can do as many eyelashes as you want. It really doesn't matter how many you want to do. Just make sure your yarn isn't tangling in the back there, and just make sure you make them thick enough so that people can see that little embellishment. Okay, and then when you want to fasten that part off, just turn it around, tie your two pieces in a knot, your two stragglers. You could tie them in a double or triple, and then you could just leave it, because again, that's going to be stuffed behind everything. You won't even see it. So do that for that eye as well. I'll show you right away. I'll do that off camera, but I'll show you right away how to do the mouth. We're going to do yarn your needle with the black yarn again. I might need a bigger hook, or a bigger needle here. I don't know where my other needle is, but bear with me. This happens every time. There we go. Okay, so I'll go in from the back side here. Actually, you know, I'm gonna make the nose first, because the mouth will then line up with the nose. So we're gonna go above this big row here. Okay, so you can see our small row, thick row, and then our next thick row. We're gonna come through here. Okay, you kind of just want to eyeball it, and we'll go right here from the back, and then we're going in here. Okay, and again, going back around. Okay, and then over to this side. I'm going to go here and out about here. Okay. And again, yours might be a little different stitches and whatnot, so just make sure that yours looks something similar to this. Actually, that's way off for me. If you look here, you can see that this is like in the center here, so you want to make sure that it lines up with the eyeballs as well. So just do that, and then when you're done, just tie this in a knot just like we did for this part here. So just tie these in a knot back here. But I'm going to take this apart real quick and fix it off camera. I want my nostrils to be sort of separated more a little bit under each eye. So I'm going to take this apart real quick. It is a trial and error, but you will be able to get it once you figure it out. But I'm just going to take this apart and fix my nose. And then I'll meet you up to make the mouth. Alright, so I just embroidered my nose. I just redid it. It's just not like perfect, but it's alright. And then I did my eyelashes on this side as well. So now we have to make a little bit of a mouth. So I yarned my needle with the black again. And I want my mouth to start over here. Okay, so we're going to go from here. And we're just going to go in and out some of the stitches. So we started from the back. Okay. Going in and out, just like this. It's not going to look like amazing yet, but it will once we get back around. So I'm just going along these stitches here from row 1. Okay, and then I'm going in to this piece. This is where I want it to end, because it's, well, I guess I could go back out this one here. Okay, then we're going to come up to this part here, kind of making it a smile. Okay, then I'm going to come back down through this part where we were just at, right into that black, and then I'm going to pull that, and we're going to go into the black on this side. Okay, that way it's seamless. Okay, and we're just going to come out this side into the black yarn. Okay, then find the next black section right here and go into that yarn. Okay, so it's seamless. You can't see any stitches in between. Looks great. So then we're just going to go back to the beginning here, all the way across, making our lovely unicorn smile, just like that. And then since we came up a little bit on this side right here, we want to come up a little bit on this side. So I'm going to come out here, go up here, and then just stay inside, just like that. Okay, so there's our little smile. So then on the other side, we're going to cut this shorter and then tie this in a knot. Okay, so the opposite, this back side looks like a jumbled mess, but nobody's going to see it because it's going to be on the inside and nobody is going to know. So there's the face so far. So now we have to make these little pink cheeks here. So I'm going to grab this pink yarn. Okay, we're going to set a bunch of stuff aside here. I need to clear my working space. And with pink yarn, the baby pink yarn here, we're going to make a slip knot. Okay, just like I showed you before. And then we're going to chain, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. We are going to half double crochet in the next chain. So yarn over, go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. We're going to double crochet in the next, so yarn over, go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to half double crochet into the next chain, and then we're going to single crochet in the last chain. Okay, then we're going to fasten that off. So chain 1, cut your yarn kind of long for sewing, and then continue to pull that through and pull tight. So we have to make 4 of those because there's 2 cheeks on each unicorn. So once you make another one of those, we can embellish this underneath the eye. Sew it on exactly like you did for the eye part. So just yarn your needle with this pink straggler here, and then just sew it on back and forth, and then tie it off in a knot. I don't think I have to show you how to do that. This is the position where it needs to be, right under the eye. You can see there's a little tiny space of white in between them. So just position it. Again, you can use the photo for a guide, but I'm going to make my other one and sew both of these on my little face here, and then we'll go on to making the horn next. Alright, so I just sewed on these cheeks here, and then this is what our face should look like now. So there's this big open space right here for our horn. So what we need to do first is make the rainbow part underneath it, just a circle. It is a repeat of the eye, this black part of the eye. So I'll show you how to do that. We're going to end up using 2 strands of yarn. You could just use 1 strand if you wanted to, but this baby yarn that I'm using is kind of thin. Make sure you use your rainbow yarn that you are using for the mane of your unicorn. So I'm going to take the 2 strands and make a slip knot, just like how I've showed you before, and then insert your hook, and we can start. It is a repeat of the eye, so if you can't really see my stitches very well, just repeat the eye. Oh, you couldn't really see my stitches there either because that's black yarn, but I'll repeat it. We're going to chain 2, and then put 6 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, here's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right in here, go in, then yarn over and pull through and through, and then chain up 1. And now we're going to put 2 single crochets into each stitch around for a total of 12 stitches. So 1 and 2, this is 3 and 4, next is 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. And last stitch here gets 11 and 12. So if you need to, count back 12. We're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet of this round, go in, yarn over, pull through and through. And now going on to the next round, we are going to chain up 1, and in the first stitch we're going to put 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And then in the next stitch we're only going to put 1 single crochet. And then we're going to repeat that all the way around. After I untangle my yarn here, we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next, for a total of 18 single crochets. So I'll meet you up at the end of this round and we'll fasten off together. Alright, to fasten this off, we have to slip stitch to the first single crochet, yarn over, pull through and through, and then to fasten off we're going to chain 1, and we're going to cut our yarn kind of long because we're going to use that for sewing. Okay, pull that all the way through and pull tight. Okay, before we sew this onto the head here, this is where it's going to go, right here. We're going to make the horn first and then attach that to this piece and then attach that to the head here, okay? So grab your sparkly gold yarn. Let's get all of this out of the way. Alright, so we are going to, I ended up deciding to use 2 strands. I know earlier I said we're not going to need 2 strands of yarn at the same time anymore, but it's creator's choice, and if you want to, you don't have to use 2 strands, but I am going to. For the horn, I'm using 2 strands here. This is the Red Heart That Gleam yarn, so I showed you the label in the beginning of this video, but you can use any sparkle yarn that you have, whatever color, or you can use rainbow yarn, totally up to you. But this is for the horn. We're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to insert our hook. Okay, and now we are going to chain 2, so yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And in the second chain from the hook, we are going to put 4 single crochets. So go into that very first chain right there, then yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's our single crochet. So that was 1. Go back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. That's 2. Go back in for 3, and 1 more is 4. Now, at this point, you could insert a stitch marker. If you have a legit stitch marker, just put that in there. Otherwise, use a different colored piece of yarn. I'm going to put that in there. And for this project, this horn part, we're going to work in the back loops only, and we're working in continuous rounds. So I put my yarn, or my stitch marker there. We're going to work in the back loops only. So you can see here we usually go through both loops like this, front and back. We're going to go through the back loop only. So you can see here, back loop only. And you don't have to for this part, but we're going to, just to make it more detailed and everything. So for this next round, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around for a total of 4 single crochets. So go into this first one, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, just like that. It's going to start to make a point, and it's going to be a little tighter here. So next stitch, back loop only. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, next stitch, single crochet, and the last stitch, back loop only, single crochet. Now we're going to do an increase. If you need to, put your stitch marker up 1 row. Okay, make sure you're not no stitches are being hidden or anything. We're going to work into this first stitch here. And we're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around for a total of 8 single crochets. So go in the back loop only of this next stitch right here. Okay, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, go back into that same back loop there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Go into the next stitch, back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, go back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch gets 2 single crochets, back loops only, 1 and 2, and the last stitch here gets 2 single crochets in the back loop only, 1 and 2. Now we can move the stitch marker up, and in this next round, round 4, we are going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around in the back loops only. So right here, back loop only, this is 1, next stitch is 2, next stitch is 3, this next stitch is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, then you can move your stitch marker up right here. Going on to row 5, we are going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch right here, 2 single crochets in the back loop only of the first stitch, 1, go back in, 2, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet in the rest of the stitches around for a total of 9 single crochets. So 1, 2, this is, next stitch is 1 stitch, but it's number 3. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This next round we're going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around, so move your stitch marker up, back loops only, just reminding you, we're going back loop only, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. This is for round 6 here. So 1, 2, 3, here's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Awesome. Going on to round 7 here, we're going to increase, so move your stitch marker up. We're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the rest of the stitches around for a total of 10 stitches on this round. So this is number 3, this is 4, remember back loops only, 5, here's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, then for this next round we are going to move your stitch marker up and put 1 single crochet in each stitch around for another total of 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Round 9 is going to be an increase here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, round 9 is our next round here. We're going to increase, so we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Remember, back loops only, so 1 and 2. And then we're going to put 1 single crochet in the rest of the stitches around. So in this round, you'll have 11 single crochets. Just like this. So that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And now this last round, we're going to move our stitch marker up, and we're only going to single crochet around for, again, a total of 11 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now, if you want to, you can we have established an increase. If you want to continue on making yours longer, you can do an increase and make yours bigger. But I'm going to fasten this off, so we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So go in, yarn over, pull through, and you can see I went under both of those loops that time, and then pull through. And then chain up 1 and cut your yarn kind of long because we'll be using that for sewing. And then continue to pull that through and pull tight. You can remove your stitch marker. And there's your horn, but we want to make it kind of spirally. So what we need to do is first off stuff it with some polyfill. Okay, just like that. We're going to sew this onto this piece, and then after it's sewn onto this piece, we are going to spiral a yarn around it to make it all spirally and fancy. Just those little details in this project are something. It just makes it nicer and more unicorn-like. So yarn your needle with that gold yarn there. Put it on this circular piece here, and then just go in and out of the stitches from the round and into the horn. So in both layers, we're pinning this down. We're just tacking it down in the stitches. Make sure that you go through both stitches or both layers to tack it completely down. So I'm just going to sew this all the way around. We're going to fasten it off just like we were sewing on these pieces here, just tying knots in the back. So I'm going to do that, and then once that is attached, I'll meet you up for the next step. Alright, so this is what the horn looks like. I just tied it to this straggler here in the bottom, just tied a bunch of knots, and so that is secure. So now I want to make it more spirally, so I'm taking 2 strands of the gold yarn that it is, and I'm going to yarn my needle with that, and then we're going to start from the bottom underneath here, wherever you want. You can start from the bottom here, going in from underneath here up this piece, okay, kind of pulling it, and then we're going to twist this around. So kind of hold it in place there, kind of twist this around your horn. You can twist it 3 or 4 good times. Okay, pull tight, and then I'm going to go in from the top here, okay, and come through the piece. You won't be able to see your needle. See, it's right there. Okay, we're going to go all the way through to the very bottom. So you can see it poking out there. Okay, it's going to be a little difficult, but you can do it. You might need assistance or just continue to push it through. This is going to be a difficult part, but once you get the yarn through, it's much easier. There we go. Okay. And then to hide that, whoopsie, make sure it's all twisted nicely, and then pull tight on both sides. making it nice and curly. How awesome. And you can decide how curly you want it. It looks more like spirally, which looks really awesome. So then you're going to tie those two pieces together so that it doesn't come unraveled or anything. Okay, so tie that in a knot. Just like that. Twice or 3 times. Doesn't matter. Okay, and then we can cut all these little stragglers short. They're going to be hidden underneath anyway. Oops, there's another one. Okay, then you can put your horn in the center of this piece here, however you want it to look. It looks good right there. Yarn your needle with that yarn, and we're just going to sew this on just like we've been sewing on each applique. So sew this on right in the middle there, going into this head piece, going in and out. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to fasten it off. Once this piece is attached, we can start attaching this to our slipper and then go on to the next step. Alright, I just sewed this piece on here. So now we want to attach this to our slipper. So I'm just yarning my needle right here. I was going to try and do it off camera because it's been giving me problems. But just bear with me here. We're just going to yarn the needle, and then we're going to, kind of like how we sewed the back of our slipper, we're going to kind of sew this piece as well the same way, in the same amount of stitches. Okay, so what we're going to do here at the top here, we're actually going to weave this in and out till we get to the side. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going in and out. Okay. And of course the yarn is going to tangle. I just want you guys to see every step I do so that nothing gets too confusing for you. So we're just getting our yarn out to the side stitch, which is right here. Okay. Then, once we're at that point, we're going to set this on top of our slipper. And now this part is going to be a little bit more tedious. We are going to work in these stitches down here, just like how we did with this back side of our slipper, but we won't be able to really see inside because this piece is really hard to manipulate. So what we're going to do is go in to this part, but then out this part right here, okay, or out the next stitch, and then pull this tight, and then we're going to go out the next stitch on here because we have to sew this piece closed to our slipper. Okay, then we're going to go into this stitch right here on this piece, and then into the next stitch and out the next stitch on this piece. Okay, it's just the easiest way. There's really no easy way to do this, but whatever way you can, you know, feel most comfortable doing, and then go out this stitch right here. Just make sure to sew this piece on to the top of the slipper. We're going to go all the way around this front here, and then once we get back here, I'm going to stop for a minute because we have to stuff the inside of this piece and then sew it all closed. So once I get to that point, I'm just going to continue working this through here, and then out the very next stitch, and then out this stitch as well. Okay, so it's going in and out for like 4 stitches at once. So just sew this all the way across, and then I'll meet you up for the next step. Alright, when you single crochet not single crochet, sew this all the way across here, we are going to close this part up. We have to stuff it. So what I'm going to do is grab just a tiny bit of stuffing, kind of try to flatten it out a little bit. You can stuff this as much as you want. Just keep in mind that at the bottom here, underneath on the inside, this part is going to push down, which in that case, if your foot is inside of here, like this, it will push down on the bottom, making it look like this. Okay, so the more you stuff, the more further down your foot is going to go down here. So you want to make sure that you don't stuff it too much. Okay, so I'm just going to flatten this out inside and stuff just enough to make it look puffy and good. Okay, just like that. Awesome. Then, once that's all stuffed, you can whip stitch this closed. So what we're going to do is just go around from one end to the other end. Okay, just like that. And then go back through this part and this part. Okay, and we're just closing this up. Okay, this is called a whip stitch because we're going from one side only, which is this side, to the outside. Okay, every time. So I'm just going to whip stitch this across. Next step is to close this part and then sew these together like this to close the sides up so that you can actually wear this as a slipper. So I will do this all the way across, and then I'll meet you up to show you how to sew up the sides and sew it all together. Alright, so I just sewed this closed, and then I sewed this side onto this piece here, and this side is exactly the same, so I'll show you exactly how I did that, and then you just have to do the same thing for the other side. So we have to close this portion right here. So we're just going to whip stitch this all the way, just kind of like how I was showing you for the other piece, the front piece. We're just going to go around and around and around up this piece, and then we're going to sew it to the front, the face part, the head part or whatever, the front part of our slipper. So just keep going back and forth here. Actually, just don't go back and forth, just go around and around and around. I mean, you could go back and forth. You could also slip stitch this closed. There are different ways to close this. Very basic, and I'm going quite fast to do it for the video tutorial. And then once you close this all up, what you can do is turn this like this. Okay, and we're going to then sew it down. On this other side, I ended up sewing it up from the bottom up, and it was a little bit easier to do that when you fasten off at the top here. This way, it's going to be sewn around and down, and so I'm going to end up way down here, which might make it a little difficult. But we'll figure it out. So what we're going to do is just go into this piece. Okay, kind of pull it tight. Okay, and then we're going to whip stitch this to the top of our slipper. Now you can position this where you want it to be, but you can see here I made the space this wide. Okay, just so that your foot will, the front of your foot would fit in here, and your foot is going to go into there like that. Okay, so you don't want it to be completely closed like this. I mean, you could, but it's gonna look a little different than mine. So I just have a little bit of space here, and then I'm just going to whip stitch this together. And it is going to be tough. It's going to be a little tedious just because there are 4 layers of work you're going through. Okay, but you can go in and out, but you'll really have to manipulate your work to make sure that you can get through here. But I'm just going to whip stitch this all the way down my piece just like this. And then when I'm about to fasten off, I'll show you how to fasten off, and I'll show you how to hide your ends as well. Alright, I just sewed this all the way down here. The nice thing about this project is that it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see, obviously you can see my stitches, and it looks kind of like a crude way to sew that up. It looks like actual stitches in surgery or something, but it doesn't really matter because that's going to be covered pretty soon when we make our mane. So don't worry about it being difficult to sew up or that it looks kind of weird, because that is going to be covered. But to fasten off, I'm just going to go under a few stitches. We want to end on the inside of the shoe as well, and go on the inside here around a few of the stitches. Okay, make sure your finger's in that loop, then come back around through that loop, okay, and pull that yarn tight and tie a knot, just like that. Okay, and you can tie a couple knots if you want, or just one, doesn't matter. And then to hide this yarn, we're going to just put it into the layers, into like a couple stitches here, into the inside of our stuffed portion of our slipper. Okay, and then you can stretch it out, cut any extra, make sure it's all hidden, and there it is. Alright, so now this is what your slipper should look like so far. Okay, you can, stuff yours accordingly. It looks not very stuffed. I probably should have stuffed it a little bit more on the head, but maybe when I stuff my foot in there, it'll come up a little bit high. Ooh, a little bit higher. So anyway, we're gonna make the next part, the main portion here. We need to grab some of that rainbow yarn. I'm going to set this aside. Grab that baby Red Heart baby yarn here. And we only need one strand at this point. This is that newborn print yarn. If you have rainbow yarn or variegated yarn, make a slip knot. Okay, and then chain 8. So yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And what we're going to do is go into the first chain way over here. We're going to kind of flip this over. Okay, so you can kind of see I'm just flipping this around. Okay, we're going to go into this chain, this first chain here, and make a single crochet. So we're not actually slip stitching, we're making a single crochet. So let me yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's a single crochet, and we're going to single crochet into each chain around. So go into this next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Next chain, single crochet. You'll have 8 single crochets at the end here. So that's, I think, 4. Here's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now what we want to do is put a stitch marker in place. If you have a legit stitch marker, you can use that. Otherwise, just use a different colored piece of yarn and put that in your right in here so that it marks your first stitch. Okay, and now we are going to single crochet around for rounds 2 through 6. Okay, and we're going to work in those back loops only. Usually we work through both loops like this, but we're actually going to go into the back loop only. Okay, and that is actually very crucial for this part because we will be using those front loops later. So I have to repeat that. We are going to work in the back loops only for this whole piece. Okay, back loops only, so that we have those front loops free and available. It will be difficult for you later if you do go through both loops like this. Okay, if you go under both of those loops, then it's going to be difficult for you later. So just go through the back loop only and then make your single crochet. Okay, next stitch, back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and we're going to do that for rounds 2 through 6. Okay, so I'm going to do that. If you need to, obviously you can move your stitch marker up every round. So right here, I just finished my round, so I'm going to move this stitch marker up and then go on to round 3. Just single crocheting all the way around in each of the 8 stitches. Okay, once we finish round 6, I will meet up with you and show you how to do the next step. Alright, I just finished round 6, so this is what it should look like so far. You can see here we have these little ribbed lines because we will be using these front loops here. So you can see there's front loops are all free. We're going to be using those later when we make the mane of our unicorn. So going on to the very next step, round 7, 8, and 9 are going to be like this. We're going to slip stitch in 4 stitches. So go into this next stitch in the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, and pull through, but do not pull tight. Okay, go into the next stitch, back loop only, yarn over, pull through, and through, but again, don't pull tight. Next stitch, slip stitch, and the next stitch, slip stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the last 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember, back loops only. Moving that stitch marker up, we're going to repeat that. So slip stitch into these next 4 stitches into the back loop only. Slip stitch, next stitch, slip stitch. Next is a slip stitch, and the next one is a slip stitch. Then single crochet into the last 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we have to do that one more time. So for a 3rd row of this little slip stitching here. So slip stitch in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then single crochet in the last 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now going up the next row, we are going to single crochet all the way around for the next 10 rows. So that was, we just finished row 9 here. So rows 10 to 19 actually, rows 10 to 19. You can do 20 rows if you want to. So I mean 10 to row 20. Or you can do 11 rows, sorry, that would be 11 rows. Just single crochet all the way around. You will see that pretty soon, when you get a little further, that this is actually turning. Where those slip stitches were, it's going to be turning like this, like a curve, which is what we want. So do 10 rows in total of just single crochets all the way around. Remember, back loops only. And then when I finish row 19, I will meet you up for row 20. Alright, once you finish row 19, this is kind of what your piece should look like. Kind of almost a 90-degree angle here, I guess, like this. So if you want to, if you need to measure or anything, grab your slipper. Make sure that here I'm going to remove my stitch marker so you can make sense of this piece. It's going to run right here. And we're going to go from the bottom here, and then the curve starts at the top here by the eye. And then this part should come to this side where the next eye is. And this is where we're going to start turning it again to come down this side, okay? While you're making this, you also can stuff it as you go. I'm going to stuff it after I'm finished with it, but you can stuff it as you go if that makes it easier for you. But at this point, for row 20, we are going to slip stitch in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then single crochet into the last 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then slip stitch into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then single crochet into the last 4 stitches. Then for row 22, we're going to repeat the same thing, slip stitch into the last or into these next 4 stitches, and then single crochet into the last 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you only need to do 3 rows of that, 3 rounds of that slip stitching in 4 stitches and then single crochet in the last 4 stitches. Okay, so that was rows 20, 21, and 22. Now for the last 6 rounds, I'm going to put my stitch marker in here so I don't lose count here. For the last 6 rounds, we are just single crocheting in every stitch, and remember, back loops only. So I'm just going to single crochet in each stitch around for rounds 23 to 29, right? 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, sorry. Row 28 is our last round on this piece here. So again, though, if you want to do more or less rounds, if it doesn't measure up on your piece, you can make this longer. But just know that you have to do 3 rounds of the slip stitching part to make it turn the way you need it to, for just like this side. Okay, see how it's turned in that little crevice corner there? So just make sure that your corners are turned so that it fits comfortably around the head of the unicorn. So I'm just going to finish these last 6 rounds, and then we'll stuff this and we will attach it to our slipper. Alright, when you finish this piece, we're going to fasten off, so slip stitch into the next stitch, and you can see I am going under both loops there. You can do that, just yarn over, pull through, and this time you can pull tight as well. And then to fasten off, we're going to chain 1. We're going to cut our yarn quite long because we will be using it for sewing this down onto our slipper. Okay, so cut that yarn long and just continue to pull that all the way through, and then pull that tight so that is secure. And this is what it should look like so far. Okay, so you can see where we slip stitched, that makes it turn just like that. Okay, now grab some polyfill, just a little bit at a time. We're going to stuff this piece very lightly. Okay, it does not have to be super stuffed, but we're just going to shove a little bit of polyfill in there, here and there. Okay, just making it a nice little tube-like thing. Okay, so just a little bit at a time, but you don't want it to become lumpy or weird. Okay, so just make it look nice. Okay, on each side. Also, this straggler in the beginning, we're actually going to probably use that for sewing this closed. We're going to sew our ends closed. You can sew it closed before or after you attach it to your slipper, but you can decide when you want to sew it closed. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. I'm just stuffing this piece. Okay, this is like a big tube and we're just stuffing it. Alright, you can situate it how you want to. See, right there I overstuffed it, so have to pull some more out. There we go. Alright, so once you have it stuffed to your liking, make sure, let's put this on our unicorn. Okay, so it's going to be like this, okay, because our main hairs are going to come off of that, okay? So what we're going to do is sew this using the straggler that we cut. We're going to yarn our needle. Okay, we're going to sew this part closed, so I'm just going to whip stitch this. Just going around. It's only going to be 4 stitches here. Around, around, and around. Okay, then what we're going to do is attach it to this piece. So what we're going to do is go in, okay, and then out right away. I'm going to pull that tight. I'm going to go out this end just to secure it. Okay, You want to make sure that it's far enough back that it's not covering the eye. And then we're going to go in and out the whole piece. Again, it does not have to be perfect because this is all going to be hidden by a bunch of yarn hair. So you can just go in and then around this piece. And it's going to be a little bit stiff with the slipper because there is so many layers to it. I mean, there's like 2 strands of yarn plus 2 layers, so it's basically like 4 layers of stuff. And there's stuffing in there too, so you just want to go back and forth, in and out, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to do that all the way across this piece. And again, you can sew this on to your liking though. I mean, you don't have to go all the way through the whole tubing, this whole rainbow piece, to make it these indents. You won't see it again, like I said. You could just go through the front loops of these stitches right here. Okay, like this. And then come, whoops, down. Okay, so I just went through those stitches there, and then just come down through some of these stitches here. Okay, just make sure that you secure this piece to your slipper. Once this is fully secure to your slipper, then I will meet you up and we will attach the yarn for the main hairs. Alright, when you come back to this side here, we're going to sew this end closed. You could have sewed it closed with that straggler from the beginning, but I'm just going to use this strand since I still have quite a bit of yarn left. And I'm just whip stitching this closed, and then we're going to attach it to this side here. So going in underneath some stitches, and then coming out this side. Okay, then to fasten this off, you want to go underneath some of the stitches. Okay, make that loop. Okay, and then pull this, put this back into that ring there. Whoopsie, into that loop. Okay, and then pull tight. And you can do that a couple times or 3 times, whatever you feel most comfortable and secure with. Okay, and then to hide this, we're going to go up inside this piece that we just attached. Just like that. Okay, and then cut any extra, and there it is. So obviously that looks a little bit wonky and weird. Yours probably will look better than mine, but what we're going to do now is attach pieces of yarn for the mane. So what we have here is just a bunch of yarn. I have cut a bunch of pieces of yarn. I'm going to need more than this, but what we're going to do is take 2 strands at the same time. Okay, you want to start on one end and then work your way to the middle, and then turn it around and start on the other end and work your way to the middle. Okay, that's how I did mine. You can do it however you want, really. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to go underneath these loops here, the front loops that we left free. If you did not go under both, or if you went under both loops and don't have any free front loops, you can go through the stitch itself. So through the entire stitch. But wherever you can hook your hook onto, we're going to go in, we're going to hook those 2 strands of short yarns. Okay, these strands of yarn are about 6 inches, I guess. Hook it on just like this, pull it through, and then hook it on kind of like a latch hook and pull it through. Okay, yeah, it's very similar to a latch hook. And then we're going to drop that down. Then we're going to go on to the next stitch right there. Grab 2 more yarns. Okay, 2 more strands. Hook them on the hook in the middle. Pull them through. And then hook those around and pull them through. Okay, and then put that down. And the next stitch. So however many stitches you have, you can put just some in the front by the eyes and the horn. You can put them all the way around this tube that we made. You can put as much hair as you want. This obviously is very long hair. You can see these are very long strands. We are, because if you put it down like this, you obviously would be stepping on them. So we are going to be cutting these short later. But I want to get them all on here before we cut anything so with that they are even. So let me just measure here what length of these I made. Yeah, see, these are about between 6 and 8 inches, and that is about 17 centimeters, 17 or 19 centimeters. So these are very short strands. You could probably even go shorter than this. I was very generous because I'm going to cut them anyway. And we're just going in the front loops, hooking it on the hook, pulling it through, then yarning over with all the strands and pulling them through that loop. Okay, and then pulling tight to secure that. So we're just tying a bunch of these strands to this piece. So this part is quite tedious, but it's going to look fabulous in the end. So make sure to do that. And then once I have all my strands on here, I'm going to show you how, when, and how I cut that shorter to make it look better and have the hair sticking straight up. And then we'll go on to finishing. We have to still make ears, so we'll do that last. Alright, so now I just attached all these little pieces of yarn to make this hair, but it looks quite crazy right now. And this next part, I'm going to cut this shorter to make it look more pleasing to the eye. So what you gotta do, really it's creator's choice, however you want to cut these short, but I just like to turn mine upside down to let them straighten out. And then I'm going to start from one side and work my way across, but I'm just going to grab a few pieces at a time, okay, kind of like a hairdresser, and just cut across, making them all straight. My scissors have gotten dull over this year, been cutting so much yarn. I'm going to have to get a new pair of scissors soon. But we're just cutting straight across just like this. So you can see this is the length I'm happy with. Okay, so I'm going to just cut these all the way across off cam, and then when I finish, we'll meet up and we'll do the ears, and then we'll finish our slippers. Alright, so bad news, I cut myself cutting this, so be very extra super careful with your scissors, you guys, because I was going like this, and I trimmed it, and I snipped my finger, so just be careful. But there is my little mane finished, so now we are going to make we're going to get through this, we're almost done, we're going to make the ears. So what we need to do is set this aside. Grab white yarn. We're just going to use your main color yarn, mine is white in this case, and we are going to make the ear. So we're going to only use one strand of yarn. We're going to make a slip knot. I've showed you many slip knots in this video tutorial already. So what we're going to start out by doing is chaining 6. So yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and across. But remember how I showed you earlier, we're going to turn the chain toward us, and we're going to work in these back ridges, okay, all the way across. Second chain, so 1, 2, right in this chain here, we're going to go into that back ridge, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's a single crochet, and we're working them in each stitch or each chain across here for a total of 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, we're going to chain up 1 and turn our work around, and we're going to single crochet across. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, next stitch 2, next stitch 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and now we're going to make a single crochet 2 together. So go into this first stitch, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Okay, that's a single crochet 2 together, or a single crochet decrease. We're going to put a regular single crochet in the next stitch, so go in, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And now we're going to single crochet these last 2 stitches together. So go in, yarn over, pull through, go to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So now on that row you only have 3 stitches across. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. For row 4 we're going to single crochet across. So it should be 3 stitches right in here, single crochet, next stitch, single crochet, and the next stitch, single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work around. We're going to single crochet 3 together. So go into this first stitch, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then the last stitch. Go in, yarn over, pull through. So now we have 4 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops, and then chain 1. Okay, so this is what it should look like so far. We're going to turn this around, and now we're going to single crochet all the way around this piece. So basically where your hook fits is where you're going to single crochet. So you can see how I'm doing it here, just going down the side of the ear. In each row, I'm putting a single crochet. And then in the corner here, this corner stitch, I'm putting 2 single crochet. You could put 3 in there if you want to, but 2 is works just fine. Okay, and then I'm working along the bottom row. You can see the foundation row here, working along here. This last stitch on the side, I'm going to put 2 single crochets, which is the corner. If you want to, you can put 3 in there, totally up to you. And then I'm going to single crochet up this last side here. Okay, you can see I'm working over that straggler too, because I want to hide that so I don't have to sew it in later. Smart little trick. For those of you who don't like to sew in your ends, sew them in as you go. Okay, and then this last stitch is going to go to the very top here. And then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet of this little round here. Just go in, yarn over, pull through, and through. And then we're going to fasten off with a long tail. So chain 1, cut that really long, and then continue to pull that through and pull it tight. You can cut that short straggler that we crocheted over the top of. So now if you need to, rewind this to make one exactly like this. You need 2 ears for 1 slipper, so you actually have to make 4 of these because we're going to make 2 slippers. And once you have them both finished, we're going to sew these onto the slipper. So how to do that? Well, while you're making your other one, I can show you. We're going to put this on here, yarn your needle, and since this is the top of the ear, we're actually going to go in the back here and kind of just sew in this end down to the corner so that we can use it for sewing to our unicorn head. Okay, so pull that all the way down. But you definitely need to stretch it because look at, oh, that does not look like an ear. So we have to just stretch this up. Make sure to shape it like an ear. Looks good. Okay, this is right in here. So now we're going to come back here behind the eye. Okay, just like this. And we're just going to sew this, just a whip stitch. Okay, it is going to be quite difficult because these stitches are so super stiff, but it is only 5 stitches on each little ear here, so bear with me. We're just going to go into a couple stitches and then in through the ear and then pull. Okay, and you can watch me do the whole thing. I'm gonna try my best. Okay, takes a little bit of strength. Whew. Okay, there. Once you have it all sewn on, we have to fasten this off. So to do that, we're going to go underneath some stitches and then through the ear, just like I've showed you before, we're going to take that loop, keep it up, go back into the loop, and then pull tight. Okay, and there's an ear. Awesome. So now I just have to sew this in. You can tie a couple knots if you want to. I can go into this part right here, just like that. Then we're going to go back into the back of it and sew this in underneath. And what I'm going to actually do is sew this inside. Ugh, it takes a little bit of strength, you guys. So just make sure, there we go. Just sew this inside of the stuffed part. Okay, just inside. And then cut any extra you may have. Stretch it out. And there it is. Awesome. Now, I won't make you watch that torturous thing again, so just do that for the other ear on this side, and then I will meet you up when we are all fastened off and finished with our slipper. Alright, so I just attached my other ear here. It looks great. So this is what the slipper should look like when you are done. So just rewind this whole video and make another one exactly like it so that you have two for both feet. Here's one I made off camera, so there's the pair. These are just so awesome. So thank you so much for watching and learning how to make these wonderful slippers. I hope you enjoyed this thoroughly as much as I did. Make sure if you do make these unicorn slippers to share a photo on the Facebook. I have to see them. So thanks so much for watching every single day. I'm gonna go enjoy my slippers now. They look so comfy and cozy. So thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you next time. Happy hooking!